So now, the most important thing for this topic is going to be understanding what is speed, right? So speed is a concept that we invented. There's no such thing as speed, okay? So we have to, basically science is a lot of rules that we created to explain the universe, right? So what is speed? Well, speed, we give an equation. The definition of speed actually just comes from this equation. Okay? So what is speed? Speed, some people say, oh, it's how fast an object moving, right? But how do you define fast? Like, what is fast, right? We have to give it a scientific definition. So the scientific definition for speed is how fast the distance is changing, okay? Or we can say the rate of change of distance. So that is what speed is, okay? And when we say the rate, just means how fast, and we are using that thing divided by time, okay? So that is how we define speed, okay? And then over here, we have a few little things. Move that a little bit. Okay, and this, we need to rearrange equation. So you've learned the method of using a triangle, right? And what you do is you put distance on the top, and then you put speed and time at the bottom, right? Okay, and if you want to know speed, cover speed, distance over time. If I want to know time, I cover time. Excuse me. Could I put yourself in the way, please? Okay, we need to stay focused. Okay, if I want to know time, I cover time. Then it's going to be distance over v. And then if I want to know distance, I can cover distance. And then distance will equal to speed times time, right? Okay, I'll just quickly write this down and how we use this, okay? All right, say I want to know time equals, what does time equal to? I cover this t, distance divided by v. So distance divided by v. Okay, if I want to know what the speed equal to, you cover speed, oh, it's distance divided by t. Okay, and then if you want to know distance, distance is on top, you cover distance. Now v and t is on side by each other. So now distance equals to v times t. So that is my three equation. Okay, all right. So this is how normally we teach at junior school. So, but when you guys go to seniors, and then we need to learn about what we call rearranging equation. How do you rearrange equation? You might have learned it in math. Is what we call is whatever. There are a few different ways. So there are mainly two ways that I normally teach. One way is a change side change operation. Have you guys heard of change side change operation? Okay. And then the other way is whatever you do to the left side, you do the same thing to the right side. Okay. So let me start with change side change operation. Okay, so how does this work? Change side change operation. So we got v equals to distance over time. For example, I want to find out what the distance equal to. Okay, so if you want to find out what the distance equal to, what do you need to get rid of? Yeah, you need to get rid of this t, right? Because t is together with this d. So what you need to do is you will need to change this t to the other side somehow, right? So that is changing side, you're changing side. Well, you change operation. So what was the operation? The original operation, original operation is divide, right? You're dividing t. And then if you want to change it, you're gonna change the operation. So change the operation to what? To the opposite of what you had. So originally if it's divide, now you need to become multiply. Does that make sense? Okay, so change operation. To multiply. Okay, so now you move to that side to multiply. So it becomes v multiplied t equals to d now. So now d equals to vt. Does this make sense? Okay, give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. Thumbs down, not make sense. Not to make, okay. And now I'll teach you the other method. The other method, I think, is a little bit easier, okay? All right, so that's method 1. So the method 2, so the method 2 is whatever you do to the left side, you do the same thing to the right side. Okay, so whatever you do to the left side, and then you do the same thing to the right side. Okay, we're gonna still have the same question, v equals d over t. So I want to know what does d equal to. Okay, again, I need to get rid of this t. So how could I get rid of this t? It's dividing a t. So how do I get rid of a t? What I can do is I can multiply a t. If I multiply a t to this side, that will be able to cancel this divide. Does that make sense? Yeah, so if I add a multiply t on here, well, according to my rule, I can't just add a multiply t here. I'll have to multiply a t on this side as well. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is whatever I do to the left side, I do it to the right side, vice versa. Now, I can see, now this t and this t will be cancelled. Because if you divide by 5, you multiply 5, and then you just got your original value, right? Okay, and then now, what does this d equal to? So now d gonna equal to this v times t. Okay, does this make sense? Okay, so if I say this, well, I know d equals v times t now. Well, what does t equal to? Okay, so say I'm going to go from here, I'm going to derive, I want to find what does t equal to. So what does t equal to? I use the same method. Well, if I want to know t, I need to get rid of a v. So how can I get rid of a v? Yeah, I can divide it by a v, right? If I divide by a v, and then this v will disappear, just become t, right? Okay, if I divide that v on this side, I need to divide v by that side as well. Okay, so I'll say, well, then I need to divide v. Okay, all right, so what do I have here now? So now this v is going to cancel this v. So I got t equals d divided by v. Right? Okay, so d equals vt, I can say divided by v, divided by v. So this v cancels this v. d equals t equals d divided by v. Okay, all right, so either of this method will be great, okay? But if you say, oh, this is still quite challenging, you can still use this method, which is year 10 science method. So this will be more like year 11 physics method. And then at year 12, then we have like more complicated like equation you need to derive. But so I just teach you guys this here for now, because if you already learned it in math, so you can just use this method. So it's a bit better, okay? So this is kind of like, it's kind of like when you're riding a bicycle, they give you like two wheels on the side, try to support you. But like if you can remember this, where to put these three numbers, well, you might as well just remember how to do this, right? Okay, so I'll give you guys some time to try it out today, and then if there's any questions, let me know. So that is all I want to mention today, and then everything else basically just come from the book. Oh, one more thing. The other thing I want to talk about is how to changing the units, right? Did you guys figure out how to change units?
Yeah.
Okay. So you, you do two situations. Okay. So then you guys can have a look. So, you guys happy for me to take this one? Okay. So this is gonna be in this video. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. So then you guys can just copy it from the video. Okay. Yeah, I'll take this away because we have very short time today. Okay. So. Okay, so how I do is this. If I want to know 50 kilometer per hour, I want to change it into meter per second. Okay, so what is my method? Yeah.
So you technically get the 50 kilometers and you do it times it by 1,000 since there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. And then you divide it by 3,600.
Yeah, it's correct. Okay, good. So what I do is this. I first write down, well, what does this actually mean? Well, what does this mean? This is speed equals to distance divided by time. What is my distance? 550 kilometer. What is my time? 1 hour, right? Do you guys have your notes? Yeah, you should write this down. Yeah, because if you don't have it already, you should write this down. Yeah. Okay. And then I need to turn this to meter. I need to turn this to second. So then I can get meter per second. Right? Well, 50 kilometer, how many meters is that?
2,000.
Yeah, 50,000. Because this K is 1,000, I just add 1,000 over here. Right? Okay, and then what is 1 hour to second? Yeah, first we're gonna say 1 hour has 60 minutes. Yeah, and then each minute have 60 seconds, right? Yeah, so I times that by another 60. Yeah, okay. And then I've converted 1 hour to second. And so I go, okay. Then I put this in my calculator. 550,000 divided by 3,600. What does it equal to? We need a calculator.
It's about 1.3.
Is it 1.3?
It doesn't end.
13? Yeah, it doesn't end yet. But what is it?
About 1.3.
Does anyone have a calculator? My cell phone is being used to. What? 13.888. Okay. Let's say 13.9. Okay. So meter per second. Now we can see, wow, the cars drive on the street just outside of our school or whatever. They're driving at that's the speed they're required to drive under. Okay, they have to drive under 50. So that in 1 second, bang, it travels almost 14 meters. If someone uses a cell phone, have a look. Oh, I got a text message. Have a look, and then he's 14 meters ahead. It's quite dangerous if you think like that way, right? Yeah. So when we say 50 kilometers per hour, we think that's pretty slow because I drive 100 kilometers an hour on the motorway. But if you think about how many meters per second, then you see it's actually still pretty fast, right? Okay. So that's why we convert them. Okay. But I say this now. If I have this 10 meters per second, I want to change that into kilometer per hour. So 10 meters per second, and that is basically the fastest human running speed. If you can run this, that means you can finish 100 meters. Say, how long does it take for you to finish 100 meters? Distance divided by time, 100 meters divided by 10, you can finish in 10 seconds. Okay? 10 seconds. If you ask anyone 50 years ago, or 30 or 40 years ago, or even 30 years ago, you ask anyone, is it possible for human to run 100 meters in 10 seconds? They will say no, because no one could do it. Okay, and then until that one person, I can't remember his name, and then no, Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt was the fastest guy, but he was not the first person to run into 10 seconds. Once he get into 10 seconds, and then he did it, and then all of a sudden everybody else could do it as well. Because that kind of had that psychology barrier. People think human cannot do it, and nobody could do it. And then all of a sudden one guy can do it, and the other guy, oh, he did it, I can do it as well. And then he did it as well, and then that kind of just improves human performance. But anyway, so let's say we got 10 meters per second. We'll say, well, is that going to be fast enough compared to a car? Well, in terms of car driving, so how fast the car should drive? Say I'm going to buy the most fancy electrical scooter. I was gonna buy an electrical scooter so I can scooter to school, don't have to stuck in the traffic jam. I'll say, well, if Usain Bolt is running with me and I'm on this electrical scooter, and then is he gonna be as fast as me or am I gonna be faster than him? So okay, so let's have a look. How do I convert this into kilometer per hour? So again, come from the definition, speed equals distance divided by time. In this case, my distance now is 10 meters and my time is 1 second. Because it's 10 meters per 1 second, right? And now I need to turn the top to kilometer. and I need to turn the bottom to hour. Does this make sense? Okay, so I need to turn that to kilometer, turn that to hour. Okay, so when you're converting units, so the rule is you either time the ratio or you divide the ratio. There's only two possible ways to do it. Say this, if I give you, I tell you the ratio for, so in China, like we use Chinese RMB, that's our currency, okay? Let's say 1 New Zealand dollar is 5 Chinese RMB. It's like 4.3 now, but it was 5 before. So let's just use 5, easy to calculate. Well, if you can, well, what happens if you have 10 New Zealand dollar? How much, if you take 10 New Zealand dollar to China, how much money would you have? 50, right? If you have 2 New Zealand dollar, how much money you have? Huh? 10, yeah. Because 1 is 5, then 2 will be 10, right? So yeah, and then what about, if you have 3, then you have 15. If you have $10,000, say you're very rich, you grab $10,000, you're gonna go have a holiday. So how much Chinese money would you gonna have? 50,000 RMB, yeah. So what you do is, if you want to turn it this way, you just need to multiply the ratio. You multiply 5, multiply 5, multiply 5, you can get this value, right? Okay, if you go backward, you say this. If you have 5 Chinese RMB, come to New Zealand, so how much money do you have now? Yeah, because $1 equal to 5. Does that make sense? You can imagine when I first came to New Zealand, I had all my Chinese RMB and then turned it to New Zealand dollar. I was like, oh damn, I only got like $10. Like, oh. so it goes this way. So you divide it by, you go this way, you divide it by 5. Say if you got 10 RMB, now you're gonna have $2, right? And if you have, say 1,000 RMB, how much New Zealand dollar do you have? Yeah, divided by 5, I got $200, right? So when I came to New Zealand for the first time, I had 700 New Zealand dollar with me. That's all the money I had. And I said, I'm gonna survive a year. I'm gonna find a job in New Zealand and I'm gonna stay there. So I had 700, so that is 3,500 RMB. That's the saving I had after working for 1 year. And then I came here and I started working in an apple pack house, packing apples. So and pruning like vine trees in the vineyards. I did that and I survived for a year. So yeah. So that's how you do it. You either multiply or you divide, depending on if it's a big quantity or small quantity, okay? All right, say here. Well, this quantity, we use kilometer times that. We time this by 1,000, right? And then this we times by the ratio, which is 60 times 60. So what should we do over here? Yeah, now we should divide, right? To change them. Okay. So if a 10 meter, how much kilometer do I have? I divide it by 1,000, right? If I have 1 second, how many hours do I have? I divide it by 60 times 60. Does this make sense? Okay. And then I can just put this into the calculator, and then that will be able to tell me the kilometer per hour. Okay. So the skill over here is to convert units, just multiply the ratio or divide the ratio. Yeah, because someone put it in the calculator for me. Because I see there's a really fancy iPhone over there. Could you quickly put this in the calculator for me and see how much I will get? You don't have a calculator?
No, what are we doing?
This. I was just thinking, why do you even need an iPhone if you have a calculator on it? Okay, let's see what the speed be for this one. Yeah, you probably need to put some brackets in there because there's so many things going on.
No, because it's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
You can't do brackets.
Eh? No, you can. 10 divided, yeah.
I was just wondering if it's possible just to like times 10 by 3.6.
You can use that, but why do you times 3.6? So that is a shortcut, but where do you get the shortcut? So I always teach this way, just because, yeah, not only we need to know how, but we need to understand why as well, right? Yeah, but you can use that, okay? But then sometimes
it's working, right? Just if you
as long as it's working, yeah.
You can't do brackets.
You can't do brackets on the iPhone. What? Give my money back. My 5,000 RMB. Nah. Anyone else? Anyone else can quickly put this in the calculator?
Mr. Why are you asking the calculator? We have the smartest mathematician here, Mr.
Well, I just need to know the answer.
0.000228.
No.
No, it's 1.5.
There must be some brackets. You might forgot the brackets.
Isn't it 3.6?
I think it's 36. Should be 36. But I just wonder how everyone can, because you need to learn how to use calculator. Yeah.
Is it like a simple?
It's but we feel like in our brains we can really calculate.
Yeah. You've got to put brackets over here as well. And then you put a big bracket. And you have a big bracket.
Like,
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the answer.
literally.
The answer is going to be 36 kilometers per hour. But I need you guys to be able to calculate this, because otherwise you don't know how to use a calculator. You can get things wrong. Okay?
58.
Okay, I'm going to stop the video now. So for the rest of the lesson, I'm going to let you guys just to complete the assigned work in your book. So page basically 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4 are the ones that assigned you guys, right? Yeah. So make sure you finish page 2, 3, 4.
Do you know
Hold on. All right, yes. Okay, and then I'll upload.